Hey Sean, haven't turned this into official content yet. It was more kind of a concept to talk about visualizing what's actually happening with the mirage. Um, I brought three photos of a Washington State ferry on water. It was just a stock image I was able to pull up. And I took and represented them from a vertical view. Again, that's the three images across the back. And then I created a stretched out reflection of the ferry, and then a stretched out version of water, which again would be what the surface is, the surface in front of the object, if it's water, is reflecting. There are two types of reflection. One is a specular reflection, which is more mirror-like, and the other is a diffuse reflection, which would just be the random scattering of light off of a undulating surface or an uneven surface. So with that said, I set up two different scenarios here, and from a front view without refraction, you would see three boats the same. So what I'm going to do here is look at it from a left view, and I'm going to rotate the farthest section of water. Let's go minus 3 degrees, which raises it up in the back. This is kind of on line with my upturned edge. I'm going to rotate the stretched out image minus 2.9, and I'm going to rotate the foreground water minus, let's say 3 degrees. Now, with the upturned edge video of mine that you're aware of, you can kind of see where visually, if refraction occurs, where these planes of visual information will now appear to be. I'm not suggesting that anything is physically moved, but through refraction, where something appears to be is different. So if we go back to a front-on view, we see a couple different things here. We now see an inferior mirage, where the stretched out reflection being viewed at the low angle is now compressed back into something that's closer to the proportions of the ship itself. And the image is kind of bad in the sense that it doesn't have depth. So where you're seeing everything else in the background, that would not happen if the photo took into account depth perception. You would just see water around in front of the ship for what's being mirrored. For this scenario, you start to see visual obstruction. And the visual obstruction looks very similar to the water, with the exception of sheens, which create those visual bands of different information. I think I can't see at this point where my thought process is wrong on this. Given the conditions of the water, the angles of reflection to the condition of the water is going to range from diffuse reflection to more of a specular reflection or near mirror-like reflection. So this would demonstrate at least the mechanics of why we have vertical displacement or the appearance of an object sinking. The mirroring effect for the inferior mirage, and so on. One other thing, and I'm waiting for Heath's response. I'm trying to use some of his I'd like to use some of his content, which is coming up right here, where if you look at it, I mean, we see a reflection, and this is a diffuse reflection. It's not mirror-like. You see the undulating surface, but this anchor buoy is reflecting an image forward. Both of them are. And if we jumped ahead to here, again we see the diffuse reflection, But if you look in the distance here, you have anchor points of all these green strands of low objects that are right on the horizon just above the mirror. And those run across the distance of this whole body of water to the camera. So just as I was communicating in the AutoCAD, let's go back to a southwest view, that the reflection is stretched out across distance. And if it's stretched out across distance across the whole body of water, raised in the back through the upturned edge, then from a front view we see mirage. And going back to this video from Heath, the diffuse reflection, as the angle gets lower and lower and lower and lower on this slightly rippling surface, it'll hit a spot where it becomes more specular with distance. And this is the reflection of everything that we see. But as you get to the tail end of Heath's video, you'll see that when this refraction collapses, the mirage is gone, the shoreline appears, more of the distant shoreline appears. And I've been trying to have a conversation with Heath about it, and he's kind of locked into his own world on the path of light, because this is all straight line of sights, angle of refraction, angle of reflection, and his program is about curved paths of light. So wanted to kind of bounce this off of you and see what you think, and if there's anything, before I invest too much time in this, that I should improve or rethink based on what I've just told you, to make it a better package. So let me know what you think, and don't share this. I don't have permission to use his stuff yet. I've asked him to use his observation to make this type of content, but until I have it, this is just between you and I. Let me know what you think. Thanks. Bye.